Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. The LDBC just does not stop. I'm sorry, YouTube, for not posting these videos, especially after I got the influx of subscribers after my last live commentary. My bad. I've been out of town for a little bit and haven't had an opportunity to make a real quick video. First video I'm going to put up is about the Jacobs Canelo fight, as the title says. My post thoughts on this. Before I get into my post thoughts, what the fuck is the LDBC been smoking? They must smoke a crack rock together. They must sniff a line together. They must do meth together. They must do some type of drugs together. Because anybody who says Jacobs beat Canelo is delusional. Either did not see the fight, watched just highlights of the fight, or has no idea what the fuck is going on in boxing. Now, this is coming from somebody. I made videos stating that I wanted Canelo to lose, that I saw there was no way that Canelo could beat Jacobs, that I believe that if it was a close fight and went to the scorecards, Canelo would win because he always wins by the judges. I went into how I believe Austin Trout beat him. Lar could have been debated a draw. Triple G beat him in the first fight. Could be argued a draw in the second fight with Triple G. By some people's standards, I might have sounded like a Canelo hater by all the content I've done about Canelo. And I've never considered Canelo one of the best fighters in the world. But the Canelo that I watched fight Jacobs was not the same Canelo I'm used to seeing. Now, this is my scorecard that I scored during my live commentary. And you'll see a bunch of arrows. Let's see if it'll come into focus. Hold on. Why is it so whitewashed out? I don't know. Looks like the sun. I don't know if y'all can see this. Hopefully this isn't too whitewashed out. And you can see how I was scoring it. So I had this identical to what the judges scored the fight actually. I gave my first 3 rounds to Jacobs. And then in the 7th round, I gave it a draw. I gave the 12th round to Jacobs. Now, what you see by all the up and down arrows is what the score would have been had it shifted in the 7th round for me. So I had it 113, 115 if you would have gave the 7th round to Jacobs. All right. I had it 113 to 116 had it been a draw round for both fighters in the 7th. I had it 112 to 116 if the scorecards would have shifted for Canelo's favor in the 7th round. Well, that 115, 113 is what two of the judges said, and the 116, 112 was what one of the judges gave. So they were dead on to what I did. The only difference in between the scorecards, in my opinion, was how you scored that 7th round. It could have went to either fighter, but because it was so close, I called it a tie round, which in my opinion would have came out to be 113, 116, Canelo in favor. Now, this is where we get back to not all aggression is good aggression. Yes, it is good to be the aggressor. It's good to throw punches. But once Canelo started bobbing and weaving, ducking, Jacobs couldn't find him. He couldn't hit him. It started on the 4th round. And I remember when I was commentating this, in the 5th round of the fight, you could go back and watch it if you want to. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is not looking good for Jacobs. Canelo has figured out his timing, has figured out how to get around him. There's nothing Jacobs can do to beat this dude. Like, I saw the fight going bad by the 5th round because I watched Canelo figure him out. And from then on, Canelo had him figured out. Now, you could say in the later rounds, there were some times where Canelo was against the ropes. Jacobs would come through and do a lot of flurries on him. Well, most of them flurry punches were missing. They were hitting the elbows, the gloves, the forearms. Now, by all means, I stated several times that I wanted Jacobs to win the fight. I wanted him to win. I like Jacobs. Jacobs from New York. Got that in common with him, even though I don't really ride for people just because they're from where I'm from, but I like the way he talks. I believe he beat Triple G. There's a lot of reasons why I was pulling for for Jacobs, and I thought Jacobs was going to outbox Canelo. But here's the thing. I'm not like these other channels. I'm not like the LDBC. I'm not like these pro whatever channels that suck dick for people and jump on a bandwagon and would let these fighters fuck they bitch because they in love with them and wish them fighters would fuck them. That's not me. That's not how I do it. I call it straight down the line, straight down the middle. And I know I'm a little explicit, but that's just the reality of the fact. I do not show favoritisms. Even for fighters I like Jacobs. If they lose, I'll tell you they lost. And I'm glad I didn't do a pre-fight prediction because I normally do. Because if I would have predicted wrong. So I'm glad I didn't because Canelo outboxed Jacobs. Now, addressing Canelo. That's all I can do. I can give Canelo a round of applause, stand up, and say good job because I can't talk shit about him for this one. And let me tell y'all something. If Jacobs would have won this fight on the scorecards, I would have been livid. I would have been saying it was a robbery. Canelo should have won. Some people could have said it was karma, but it wouldn't have mattered because at the end of the day, the right man got the win. There was no controversy. There was no closeness in this fight. Canelo outboxed Jacobs. That's the end of it. There's no debating it. I don't care what a couple of people here or there said. If they were in the ringside, maybe they had an angle that looked like Jacobs was landing a lot more than what he really was. But if you watch it on film, to anybody who thought Jacobs might have won, watch it on film, and you will see Canelo dominated him, and Jacobs missed damn near everything he was throwing. Canelo even took his jab from him. There's nothing I can do to say that Jacobs won this fight. And once again, for the last time, I hold up my scorecard. I know I misquoted my score. I had to rewrite it because whenever I was saying it online at the end of my commentary, with my draw round, I was adding a point, and I shouldn't have been because the point would stay the same. So it wouldn't be 117. It would still remain 116 no matter what for Canelo. And then for Jacobs, it will remain 113 no matter what if you give the seventh round to him because I already scored 10 points for him and I added a point. So that's why my scoring sounded a little off at the end of the live stream. But looking back at it, I saw what I did. That's why I even wrote on the side, still 116. So yeah, outside of that, there's been some controversy about what Canelo got paid and what Jacobs got paid. Jacobs got 2.5 million from what I've seen and guaranteed 10 million. Now, on the flip side, Canelo got 35 million, and people have a problem with this. I don't have a problem with this at all because here's the deal: with or without Jacobs, Canelo is going to make 30 plus million a fight. Jacobs' highest payday was against Triple G. I believe he got $1 million. So he doubled his highest payday, almost tripled it. His highest payday. He got 1.5 million more than his highest payday, even if he doesn't make his guaranteed 10 million. I'm not quite sure how that guarantee works. I don't know if that's a guaranteed 10 million made by the time of the expiration of his contract, a guaranteed 10 million for the Canelo fight at the residuals, and the back end comes in for the merchandise sales, concession, how they add up all the money, the zone buys, etc. I'm not quite sure on that because I thought Jacobs was guaranteed $10 million, but I must have looked at it wrong. But even at that, like I said, this is where the LDBC has lost their motherfucking minds, and this is the problem with a lot of people. A lot of people try to make their worth more than what they're worth. Canelo can make $35 million fighting Jacobs. Why? Because he's gonna make 30 million fighting anybody. Jacobs can't make 2.5 million fighting just anybody. He needed a Canelo to make that much. And if Jacobs would have beat Canelo, then guess what? He would have been making the 30, 35 million the next fight because all eyes would have been on him. It would have been a shift in popularity. See, that's the problem with Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder can't even sell a fucking pay-per-view without Tyson Fury, and he wants half the money against AJ when now he went right back down to only making The same thing as Jacobs, 2.5 million to fight Dominic Brazil when he could have fought him for 20 million through the zone. But that's a whole nother argument. The problem with these people are they're trying to value themselves as something that they're not valued at. If you can't bring in the money, you're not worth it. You're not a commodity. You're just another person until you make a name for yourself. When they start making that much, then you have a valid argument. If Deontay Wilder, or let's get off Wilder. I don't care about Wilder or AJ. Jacobs. Let's say Jacobs was making 15 million a fight. And for this particular fight, they only gave him 2.5 million to fight Canelo, who in turn made 35 million. Then you would have a case to say, no, this is some bullshit. He got ripped off, he got robbed, possibly even throwing racism in there, because why the fuck is he only getting 2.5 million when he's used to making 15 million? But the fact is, he's not used to making 15 million. He's used to making a million max, and underneath that, to fight other people who aren't a high credential name like Triple G. So this was his career high payday, and he got what he was worth and then some. I don't think Jacobs has a problem with what he got paid. The only people who have a problem with what he's got paid are motherfuckers who aren't getting paid the money. At the end of the day, you have to be worth something to get something. You get paid what you are worth, period. It doesn't matter about, at the end of the day, it's like, look at Lomachenko. Lomachenko is not a pay-per-view star. He's not. Doesn't matter what his credentials have done. Doesn't matter what belts he's got. It doesn't matter what belts he's won. If he can't put asses in seats and make all that money, he doesn't deserve the money. A lesser fighter like Adrian Broner could fight a Lomachenko, and Adrian Broner would get the more money. Why? Because he brings more people to the fight, even though he's the lesser tier fighter. See, sometimes it's not all about how good you are. It's about how good you can market yourself. And that's where Mayweather was a genius. That's why he made more than any fighter before him. It's the marketing. If you can't market yourself to make the money, you're not worth the money at the end of the day. You're worth what you can bring in. What the company can earn off you is what you're worth. Simple. So that's enough of that. Once again, to rehash what I was saying, to get off these tangents that I get in, Canelo did an amazing job. Canelo showed a lot of growth. And the Canelo that I watch fight Jacobs is going to be very hard to beat. Very hard to beat. Very hard to beat. And I don't like Canelo, but I have to give him his due respect. He earned it. He deserves it. And he was the better man. Thank y'all for watching. I'm going to try to get more videos out more frequently. My bad again, y'all, about the delay. Peace.